So you're not gonna let me have.
Okay, let's call the meeting order of May 26, 2026, 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Member Wood,
Excused?
Councilmember Richardson,
Present.
Member Arias.
Here.
Member Kingiser,
Here.
Councilmember Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Johnstone.
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky. Here. Mayor DePinto.
Here. Can we get a agenda approval? Councilmember Kaminsky, is
Move to approve the agenda.
there a second? Second by Councilmember Hess. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to special presentations, we do have a proclamation today for the Military Appreciation Month. City of Yelm Mayoral Proclamation Military Appreciation Month. Whereas the City of Yelm proudly recognizes the courageous men and women of the United States Armed Forces whose dedication and sacrifice in protecting the freedoms, security enjoyed by all Americans. And whereas Military Appreciation Month is observed each May to honor current service members, veterans, military families, reservists, National Guard members, and those who make the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. And whereas throughout our nation's history, members of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard have courageously defended the principles of liberty, democracy, and freedom, the unite Americans of every background and belief. And whereas the South Sound region is proudly home to Joint Lewis McChord, whose service members, veterans, civilian employees, and military families make lasting contributions to the strength, security, and character of the region. And whereas the City of Yelm values the contributions of veterans and military families within our community and recognize the importance of supporting those who serve and continue to serve. And whereas Military Appreciation Month includes important observances such as Loyalty Day, Military Spouse Appreciation Day, Armed Forces Day, and Memorial Day, each providing opportunities to reflect upon and express gratitude for military service and sacrifice. Now, therefore be it resolved that I, Joe DePinto, Mayor for the City of Yelm, do proclaim May 2026 as Military Appreciation Month in the City of Yelm and encourage all residents to honor and recognize the service, sacrifice, and dedication of our military members, veterans, and their families. Signed in the City of Yelm, Washington, this 26th day of May, 2026. Now moving on to public comment. We have one blue card. Is there any other blue cards out there? Anyone else want to speak? All right, Valerie Pitts, please.
Hi, my name is Valerie Pitts. I'm with the Small Business Administration. I am here on behalf of Office of Disaster Recovery. We are here to help businesses who might have lost either their actual business or economic injury, and they weren't able to actually make the payroll due to disaster that just recently happened in December. We have interest rates as low for businesses as low as 4%. Others is right at 8%, and we have a cap of 2 million. But as the bank, you would need to have be able to repay the loan, and you must have decent credit.
All right.
We encourage y'all to apply. I will email you all the forms tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Is there anyone for the audience here? Anyone else wishes? Anyone online?
We don't have any hands raised.
All righty. Go ahead and end public comment and move on to the consent agenda. We have the April 28th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent.
For King Eyes removes. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Arias. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Carries. Moving on to new business. We have a few confirmations of appointments that I've recently made. We'll go through these one at a time. Some of the members are here in the audience and some are not. So starting with item A, confirmation appointment to the Arts Commission. We have Katie Holstein. Is there any discussion or Councilmember Arias.
I wanted to move to confirm Mayor DePinto's appointment of Katie Holton to the Arts Commission.
Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Richardson.
I just had a question about the applications. I noticed on some of the applications, there were different committees that were available, and I know we disbanded the homelessness committee, but I saw that that was available on some of those. So are those old applications that were pulled, or is it just something that hasn't been updated?
I believe that, yes, we keep them on file for 1 year, so if they were submitted,
Gotcha.
some of them might have been, we might have had them for a little while.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Is there any further discussion on this item? A. For the Arts Commission. All right, it's been motion seconded to appoint Katie Holstein to the Arts Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is item B is confirmation appointment to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. This is for Amy Hutchins to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. Is there any discussion or comments? Councilor Arias?
I move to approve Mayor DePinto's appointment of Amy Hutchins to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee.
Is there a second? Second by Councilor Johnstone. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is item C, and Jordan is in the audience today. If you do have questions or want to discuss, Councilor Kaminsky.
I would like to move to approve Mayor DePinto's appointment of Jordan Werner to the Parks Advisory Committee.
Second.
Second by Councilor Richardson. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Congratulations, Jordan. Moving on to item D, confirmation employment to the Planning Commission for Riley, excuse me, is it Helene? Heelan, excuse me, of Riley Heelan. Is there Councilmember Richardson?
I'd like to move to confirm Mayor DePinto's appointment of Riley Healing to the Planning Commission.
Second. Second by Councilor Arias. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Congratulations, Riley. And thank you both for your willingness to serve on these committees and serve your community. Moving on to old business, there's none scheduled. Moving on to standing council committee reports, starting with the Public Safety Committee.
No meeting.
Moving on to Public Services Committee.
Hey, I got a lot of notes here. I'll try to be quick and expeditious. Public service notes, looks like first off, we had some code changes. Basically, they took some code changes to the Planning Commission, and some of those code changes are of that to make it easier for someone to subdivide their property. Also, there's plat approval that would be approved in house rather than waiting for council, because we all know how much we love that. And then final plat approval will still be strictly administrative, is what I'm understanding, right? Cool. If I'm wrong on anything, just stop me. But council will still approve the overall master plan, and that'll be coming to council for approval. Also, there are summer projects that they've been working on, and actually some of them are already complete. There's a lot of upgrades happening on 3rd Street. There's an ADA ramp at 3rd Street. 18 sidewalk panels have been replaced on Killian, and public service building is looking to add a parking lot, an employee parking lot, because we all know how much there's so many available spots when we go there. So there's not, so they'll have some more. That'd be great. Third, there was some rezoning, newly annexed multiple properties that are getting rezoned to R6 and R4. Most of these changes are happening in the industrial zone areas, and they're to be rezoned. It just makes good sense, especially when it comes to the road that's going to be in there, the loop. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with my thoughts here. Also, alleyway Veterans Memorial, they're going to bid this summer, hopefully. They are working with Comcast, Lightcurve, and PSC to make all the power that we see above ground go underground. And it's going to be real clean. It's going to look great. And that's going to be coming to bid in July, hopefully. Also, in the communications and recreations updates, there's a lot coming up in June, busy month. June 3rd, new employee coming on board, seasonal rec aide to help Lynn. And so June 6th, there's the Pollinator Palooza, bird feeders and bee baths, games and fun activities. June 4th, Yelm Unlocked for teens. They always complain there's not enough things for youth. So this is a thing for teens, and it's only for 13 to 16-year-olds. And it challenges them, so they get challenges texted to them through the summer. And then as they complete those, they get points to win a prize at the end. June 13th, there's a color run. June 14th, Flag Day ceremony. And there's a VBA that's coming in the park at Cochrane. I think they're teaming up with Outpost Church and Pastor Devin over there. And Prairie Days is coming up June 25th through 28th. And I guess in August, they're going to be having some live music every weekend in the park. So that's some the stuff to look forward to. And then Councilmember Hess brought up some things, basically some upgrades to the current roads that may not have sufficient safe bike paths, and just asking public services if they can look into that. And also some speed limits to be adjusted according with development for safety was brought up by Councilmember Hess. And that's all I got there.
Thank you for the report. Very good. Moving on to Finance Committee. All right, moving on to General Government Committee.
We had our meeting just before this meeting. We got an update on the 640 acres. They're working through the development agreement right now, so still working on that. We also talked about the council retreat. That's June 12th and the 13th. And to please keep an eye on your email, fellow, for some information coming from Kathy in terms of transportation and kind of the logistics of the retreat. And that's all I've got.
All right, thank you. All right, Mayor, City Administrator, staff reports. Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Just a few updates. Most of them were covered by Councilmember Richardson. Thank you. We hosted a beautiful Memorial Day ceremony yesterday in conjunction with VFW Post 5580 and American Legion Post 164. There were about 40 folks in attendance. We're grateful to the VFW, American Legion, Mount Tahoma High School, JROTC, Tennyson Ford, who sang the national anthem, and Nathan Hilmer, who played taps on the trumpet. Just a few more details on the Prairie Days. So that kicks off Thursday, June 25th by Prairie Days Bingo. Will be at the Yelm Community Center, hosted by Yelm Land Club. Friday the 26th is Party on the Prairie with Dakota Portman and the Olsen Brothers food trucks and beer garden. Friday evening. Saturday will be the parade, touch a truck, chalk art contest, kids inflatable, carnival rides. 27th, Saturday evening is the first movies in the park at Longmire. And then on 28th is the annual charity mush ball tournament, hosted by One Net Yelm. Let's see, from the police side, last Thursday, Officer Mooney organized a mock DUI crash scene at the Yelm High School. He coordinated with several agencies, including the Coroner's Office, State Patrol, Thurston County Sheriff's Office. And the plan is to do this every 3 years. They did have a helicopter scheduled to come in to add to the entire scene, but the helicopter actually had to do actual helicopter stuff during that time period. So the helicopter didn't get to come. But anyway, it was a great job by Officer Mooney from our police department, who organized that entire event and included a lot of folks. From the court side, our next passport fair has been scheduled for Sunday, June 28th at the Yelm Community Center. And just from the public works that already wasn't covered was the splash pad is working great. That's all I have.
Todd. For me, a lot of the same stuff that Todd just mentioned. I will say thank you to our public services department for a lot. Was it the week before for the weekend for the spring cleanup? Did a good job. We do you remember how many garbage fulls? How many
yard dumpsters.
Yeah, amazing. And we opened it up like last year to 95, 97, the Yelm area here. Yelm addresses. So not necessarily those folks who are just inside the city limits, but this is something that we do help out with folks that are just outside the city limits that still consider Yelm their home. Other than that, I did attend a few different military events, starting with Thurston County Chambers annual meeting, which they held. They had a keynote speaker who was the deputy commander over at JBLM for the First Corps. And the next day I went to the breakfast for South Sound Military Community Partnerships, and it's specific to military partnerships, along with their connection to a different communities here in the South Sound. Yelm's obviously part of that organization, and that was given by the actual commander for the First Corps too, Lieutenant General McFarland. And then a couple different events here locally for Memorial Day. I went to a service at JBLM, very somber event, but very well done. It was the first time I actually attended on JBLM at their cemetery, and yeah, it was pretty special. And we also had a very nice a Memorial Day ceremony here in Yelm. Thank you, couple council members, Councilor Kingizer and Councilmember Johnstone. I believe that's it that were there. Thank you for attending and joining us as well. And thank you for our local VFW and American Legion for helping out with that, participating. That's all I've got. Moving on, council member reports. Starting with Councilor Richardson.
Nothing to report.
Okay, Councilor Arias.
I attended the Regional Housing Council special meeting on May 14th. The item that was before us was the allocation of the remaining encampment resolution program funds. At that meeting, under the advice of the tech team, it was recommended that we delay the final allocation of this money until the July meeting. That'll give time to research some additional approaches as to what we could spend this money on. There were also, in conjunction, there were conversations about what role those remaining funds might play in responding to the encampment that is in Olympia, that many people know as the jungle. I'll use that term because that's how most folks recognize it, though I don't think it's the most dignified way to refer to people's living situation. But those conversations are ongoing, and no decisions were made at the meeting. So we'll continue to talk about and look at what can possibly happen with the encampment that is in Olympia. I also attended the study meeting. That's the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative. It was great to connect with folks from across the South County cities and hear about what's happening. I shared about Prairie Days. I shared about our Memorial Day event. Really great meeting to be a part of. And finally, I also participated and had the privilege of participating in the South Puget Sound Habitat for Humanity's Women Build. This was the first Women Build here in Yelm at the Mill Crossing Development over on Coates Avenue. When complete, it's going to be 22 homes, townhomes, and cottages for affordable home ownership right here in our community. I spent the day alongside some incredible women, Councilmember Kaminsky, Commissioner Rachel Grant, Planning Commissioner Ashley Brooks, Mandy Johnstone, and a bunch of other great women. We put up 2 framing walls. So very, very, very exciting. And it was a really special day. And I'm really proud that Yelm is doing this and is a part of this. That's all I got.
That's awesome. And we will try to elect local electeds here as well, for not just the ladies. That we can also.
So we can do a build. We already know how to do things. I already know how
Yeah,
to do
you can
things.
show us.
I think I'm done.
You can show us, you'll be the leaders on that one.
Supervise.
Thank you. Councilor Kingizer.
I'm not sure that I know how to use a nail gun, but I can use a hammer pretty well. So, just saying. So, I attended the Boys and Girls Club breakfast. That was really neat. I've not been to that one before. It's so early in the morning, but it happened to be right before my shift, so that was wonderful. The inspiration that I took was just the touching stories of so many clubs across the board throughout Thurston County, not just ours right here in Yelm. I tend to get a little bit of a bubble about me of just Yelm and like what we're touching and what we're doing and how can we make a difference. And it was just really neat to hear so much across the board. So definitely look into that. Donate if you can. They definitely need funds to keep things moving. I also attended the Memorial Day service. It was pouring down rain and I mowed the lawn that morning. So pardon me, I probably cursed everybody, you know, the whole thing in Washington of washing your car or mowing your lawn brings the rain. So that's what I did. But the inspiration from that one that I took was so many people showed up and it was really raining, cats and dogs. VFW 5580 was great. I could hear most of what they had said and every single person, including our mayor, had inspirational words to share. I shed quite a few tears. It was really wonderful. And the last thing that I wanted to make note of is we all know of my strive for education to continue on with that. Jurassic Parliament is a huge one for me, right? Anne McFarland, if you've not heard her voice yet, it's just dreamy and I could just listen to her all day. I've been through it many times, but she will be passing the baton to Andrew Istep. I may be butchering his last name, but due to health considerations. And so I wish Anne all the peace as her legacy continues on through Jurassic Parliament. through Andrew, and Tisha was the gal that taught us ours. And I've seen her several times throughout different conferences and things like that. So excited to see Jurassic Parliament continue on, but I wish Ann all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been part of city councils and local government for decades. Given a lot of good information to council. So yeah, sad to see her go, but glad she's passing it on. Thank you for your report. Councilmember Hess.
For Intercity Transit Authority, first meeting that we had was an interjurisdictional conference representing Yelm at the conference. It was to go over because there's an RCW that says that so many years you have to keep looking at and see if your area has grown population-wise to find out if changes need to be made of representation on the board. At this time, we have not, as a whole, we've not grown big enough. And so it's still for the city and county, one representative each. There's also 3 community members and 1 for the labor union. That happens to be the makeup of the board. Also, something that came out of that meeting is there was discussion about increasing the area that intercity transit services. And one of the things that was brought up about that is the rural transit. They have been asked to take a look at whether they can take over that or not. And so we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep everybody informed. We also had a briefing about the surplus van grant program. This is, it was established in 2003. It's for 501c3 nonprofits and government agencies. And there were 84 vehicles that were granted. And the awardees for these were Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County, We Love Learning Early Learning Center, Innovations Human Trafficking Collaborative, and City Gates Ministry, Making a Difference in Thurston County. They all got the amount of vans that they needed to help provide services. There's also coming up June 17th, there will be a public hearing at 5:30 for talking about the budget that's coming up, as well as the capital investment plan. So if you're interested in something like that, please look up Intercity Transit Authority and get as much information as you can about that. For the authority meeting itself, we've gone through the process of making sure that a lot of things are, one, they got a brand new camera system. It's really nice. If you've ever seen one where I think we did the owl, where there's that long pan thing and then it kind of like tries to catch one. Now the camera spins and catches who it needs to catch. So you actually get to hear a lot better and see. Then we also had the rodeos getting ready to come up. So that'll be a fun thing to watch and see the bus drivers prepare for. The last item, and I want to thank Public Service for this, hearing them brief about it, the intercity transit bike and roll. We have it coming to Yelm, and it is from 12 to 16-year-olds. You go through if you finish everything that they haven't lined up for you, you get a free bicycle, a free helmet, a free bike lock, and a little bell to put on your handlebar. So, Director Colt, thank you for being involved in making that happen. Well, that is something that's really nice to see. And so if you know people who need a bike, please pass the word around. Other than that, nothing else.
Cool. Well, love a free bike. Councilmember Johnstone.
I have EMS council on Thursday. Other than that, nothing to report.
All right, Councilor Kaminsky.
Good to be back. I wish I could have brought a couple of stonemasons back with me from this. As Griselda mentioned, I was on the Women's Build Habitat for Humanity team, and it was a blast opening, I think it's Mill Creek subdivision. We did landscaping, we built a fence, and we did construct 2 framed walls. They better not fall down. And hammering is not easy. I totally was pathetic at the hammer contest. Pathetic. Anyway, I came to find out too, which was interesting, that the walls that we framed were for one of the the first and only townhouses that are to be built in Yelm. So that was pretty cool. That was a fun day. And then I had this was the day I returned. I was a little delirious, but I went to the annual retreat for Nisqually River Council, and it was at the Cascade Camp and Conference Center, where I'd never been before. I've lived here like half my life. And it was a beautiful retreat center that we might one day consider, because they have overnight accommodations, they had a place to eat. It was really beautiful.
Is that out by Lake Lawrence?
It's at the end of Peisner Road, like miles into the forest. I'd never been out that far. It was gorgeous. So something to consider. So with the River Council, the news is that the I-5 bridge project is still in the NEPA stage. They're down to two alternatives, one bordering the river 6,000 feet and another 12,000 feet. And that's according to WashDOT. They're going to decide which alternative they're going to build, and the construction will begin around 2030, run to the cost of $4 to $6 billion for this bridge to be replaced over the Nisqually River. The other issue was the 6 ppd tire issue. This I find interesting. There's so many toxins in our environment that they don't do anything about for people, but 6 ppd is killing the salmon. And guess what? They found a solution. A company named Flexus is close to providing an alternative to the chemicals in our tires. And these are going to be probably enforced in 2031, although the tire industry is totally afraid of a deadline. They don't want to meet a deadline, but they will. And so this 6 ppd is like DDT. It's an entire poison that had almost eradicated our salmon. But there's a solution. And the amount of steelhead and wild Chinook have responded to the 25-year efforts of the Nisqually River Council. They're very proud of that. And the whole program is getting national attention to our River Council. So again, very proud of that. And then lastly, the land trust auction and the river float are going to happen at the end of this month. And the canoe journey still July 30th to August 5th. And I'll update you when I find out where the boats are going to be landing. And if you want to volunteer, you can volunteer online. Sign up. That's it.
Thank you for the report. All right, there's no executive session scheduled. No furthers?
I'd like to move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second, give it to Councilor Richardson on that. He raised his hand a little bit on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay? We are adjourned.